Yep.
All righty, cool, cool, cool. Let's see, setting up for YouTube Live. Done redirecting to YouTube, and here we go. All right, we are live. Welcome. We ever named this show? At any rate, we are
Not really.
Nate and Simone. We talk all things marketing. And
Yeah.
today we have in the room, we have a visitor with us. His name is Eric, and he is a voiceover artist,
Yes.
which is awesome. Don't meet too many of those every day. And what we're talking about today is we're talking about like what are the core values that are going to carry you into the future. Let's uncover those for your business to help you be successful.
Yeah. And
Welcome.
Eric, just to kind of give you an idea of how this works, we're kind of experimenting with the format a little bit, to figure out what the best method is. And so last week we did a full on presentation with slides and everything, but there was nobody here. So it's like so this week we're going to conduct this more of like a discussion of sorts. Um and we're going to try to bring you in on the discussion as much as possible. That way you're not there's no passive attendance here. So,
Yeah, no sitting in the shadows.
that's right.
Mhm.
And
All
basically
right.
kind of give you an idea of what it is that we do. We're um, amongst other things, we do marketing strategy. Helping business owners to achieve sort of a 30,000 foot view of their business, um, to look at their marketing. Yes, a lot of people consider what people consider to be marketing, right? That
Yeah.
the front end, which is your website, your ads, social media, and stuff like that. But we're of the philosophy that marketing is much more than just that. It also involves the systems and processes you have going on in your business.
Sure.
Have you ever heard of the saying, your you better be able to fulfill on the promises your marketing has made, you know?
No,
So
actually, but
yeah, so being able to fulfill on those is just as much about your marketing as anything that you've done on the front end to get people into, your circle.
sure.
Um, having happy customers is also a crucial part of that, right?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
um, so yeah, that's the kind of stuff that we talk about, helping people come up with ways to implement that in their business. And
How to
yeah,
turn your clients into raving fans and get them
exactly.
to go out and advocate for you and your brand. So
Yep, crucial.
it's so much more
Yes.
than advertising and
Yes.
promoting your offers.
Yep. For sure.
And like the title of this series on the Alignable platform, I've called it V3 Growth Secrets. It's not really secrets necessarily, but people like secrets, so that's kind of catchy. But the V3 stands for visibility, viability, and valuation. Or you know, we make businesses more visible, viable, and valuable. Um,
Oh, I love that.
yeah,
That's a good framework.
yeah,
Three-part framework.
yeah. There you
I
go.
love it.
So anyway,
I've been
what?
enamored with frameworks lately. So
Yeah. Well, it definitely makes things easier to remember.
it
You know.
does. It really does.
Um, yeah, there's oh my gosh, what's his name? I cannot think of it now. But there's a guy that I follow. I on his email news list, and he has a really good podcast. He was actually a former member of the Canadian intelligence agencies.
No.
One of the other three-letter intelligence agency in Canada. but he has this whole podcast where he talks about thinking ways to think better, using frameworks, to help you and that kind of stuff. So that can definitely be applied in multiple different areas, right? So we're bringing that to marketing and strategy. So
Right.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. Fantastic.
All right. So let's get into our discussion for today. We're starting at the beginning. It's not really, this isn't really a topic that most people think of when they think of marketing, but it is pretty crucial because when you decide like what your core values are, they guide what you do day to day, what kind of clients you're willing to work with, what you're willing to do for money in your business, right? What kind of
You
opportunities you're going to take and what you're going to reject, right? So these
your
core
decision
values,
making.
your decision making, exactly.
Right.
It guides
Yeah.
you. It guides you day to day. So, Nate, want to give us a
Well,
definition?
yeah.
What's core
Yeah.
values?
So core values, it's strange to me to think, but I often think of values as being associated with, maybe in religious terms, people that have certain religious mindset tend to have values, but I mean, really, it does apply broadly. All people have values, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just some people don't realize what their values are and they haven't really thought them through and they allow, that's just kind of like willy-nilly. But what we're trying to do here is be focused about, where we're putting our energies, especially when it comes to marketing and knowing what it is that you value in your personal life as well as your business, because you can't really separate it, right?
Right.
It's gonna leak over, there's no
That's true.
you know um
There's no
so
such thing as a Chinese wall in your life, especially
yes.
an entrepreneur's life.
Yeah, yeah. As much as we'd like to believe it, but having those, knowing what they are, I think helps you be more conscious about the decisions that you're making in your business and your personal life, and can really, like I said, help guide you. You know, uh, it aligns your actions with your beliefs. That's kind of what we're talking about here. So
That's the
Yeah.
truth. That is the truth. Um, as Christians tend to have that mindset more, I guess, more than a lot of people, or maybe not just Christians, but religious people
Sure.
um, tend to have that mindset more than a lot of people. But like, what goes on in your mind? What goes on in your heart bleeds out into what you do, right? There's this book called As a Man Thinketh,
Hmm.
and that phrase comes directly out of the Bible. The verse says, "As a man thinketh, so is he." You are
Hmm.
what you think, basically. So,
Huh.
um, so if you don't set those values up, whether you're a religious person or not, decide, then it's going to guide your every action, and not just your action, but it's also going to guide and determine who you accept in your space. And that
Yeah.
could be this client versus that client. You know,
Right.
just because a person has a ton of money that they're willing to drop in your lap doesn't mean that they're a good person that to work with.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
I heard this phrase that all money ain't good money.
That's a good one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Simone, real quick, sorry to interject.
Mhm.
Can you give me the meeting link? Can you paste it in the chat? Because somebody's wanting to join. So
Okay. Give me one
um,
second.
I'll try to get them in
Um,
here.
of the Zoom link, right?
The Zoom link,
Okay,
correct.
because I was about to give you YouTube.
I guess I
Oh,
have that. What?
okay, hold on. There we go. It's been copied, and let me paste it. Okay, there you go.
All right, good deal. Thank you.
Awesome. Yay, attendees. Wonderful.
Hopefully they'll be able to join us through that. Anyway, yeah, where were we? So brief intermission there. Now, I think we might want to talk about, the how having these values can help you overcome challenges in your business. You know, probably one of the I don't know if I would say main reasons, but a very important reason for having these values, right? Is for this reason, um, because it can allow you to overcome business challenges.
Mm.
So, what are some examples of some challenges that you might encounter in your business, especially when it comes to marketing?
Oh,
Well,
wow.
Let
Lot, lots of
me
them.
count the ways. Yeah.
Yeah, let me count the ways. Exactly. Um, Maybe the first one is getting started or knowing where to start. And I don't know if I mentioned to you yesterday that I had done some actual advertising with Google and getting the link or whatever to show up higher on the web pages and be promoted and that kind of thing.
Yep.
And that, netted a little bit, but not uh, definitely not what I was spending on it. Um, and then I did some email and some snail mail marketing, but either I didn't know what I was doing or I wasn't doing enough of it, probably both. So it's kind of just knowing how marketing works, and I have never been good at sales or marketing, and so it's really been a stumbling block for me, and something that I'm working on, but I need to definitely get a lot better at.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think you're probably in the same group as many, many, many small business owners. Um, it's kind of like this, it's a mystery, which of course
Yeah,
makes people curious and apprehensive at the same time. It's kind of
right.
like this, I don't know what the heck's going to happen because I don't understand it.
yeah,
Um,
not
which I can
knowing which way to
understand.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so many marketing gurus out there who tell you, oh, you need to
Yeah.
be on social media and you need to be on all the platforms and you need to be putting out videos 12 times a day. And
Right.
and then you've got other people who, well, no, you need to spend money on your advertising. You got to get on Facebook, you got to get on Google, so there's all these different voices telling you all the different things that you have to be
Yeah,
doing in
for
order
sure.
in order to do your marketing right. So I can imagine especially for a new entrepreneur, like, which way do I go? This is
Right,
crazy.
right.
What's happening? Or they try this, it doesn't work. They try that, doesn't work. Try that, doesn't work. Yeah, that's can be frustrating
Yes,
to say the least.
absolutely.
So the question here is then, how can having values, setting those, recognizing them, being conscious about them, help you in this situation? What do you think?
Well, one of the ways in which um, we voiceover artists market ourselves is through direct marketing to where we reach out to companies, advertising agencies, businesses, just any number of different people and organizations that might need help. But I liked what Simone said earlier about how just because somebody might have money doesn't mean that you necessarily want to work with them, and not all money is good money, because there are some people that I would not work with. Um, and so that's because of values. And so I keep those in mind, and I don't target or reach out to those kinds of businesses or organizations. And that's I may be turning away money by doing that, but it's it's up here that I couldn't, not that I couldn't live with myself, but I couldn't be happy with myself, I guess, if I just sold out to the highest bidder and was like, "Oh, well, I don't care what you're talking about. I'll go ahead and do the voice for it." But knowing in my gut that I didn't believe what I was saying, or I couldn't support what I was saying, and so I just, I turn that stuff away, or I don't deal with it in the first place.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. Like your values um, can help guide you there when making decisions with who to. I think, and
Yeah,
kind of
Absolutely.
reiterating the topic we've been going on, but
for sure.
something else to consider there. You strike me as the type of person who is kind of a straight shooter, authentic, you know. And I would think that, having that as part of your value would be, I think I would, to me, you strike me as that would be like one of your key values. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
um, yeah. And so, as they say, authenticity is like that's the place to be, and
Yeah,
I mean,
I was
I
gonna
could
jump
couldn't
in on
really
that too.
couldn't really teach you a better starting point for your strategy than that, right? So,
That's
um,
true. And at times when, say, you're out here and you're pitching to businesses, and maybe um, you're building up your sales pitch, or you're getting kind of used to it, but in the beginning you're getting mostly no's, and you may be tempted to change your tactics, or change what you say,
sure.
or change what you promise in order to entice people more, right?
Right.
Say you're a business coach, or you're a new business coach. You've gotten some success in business, or you've got some success in a particular area, but you're tempted to say the things that other people are saying because it sounds good. It sounds like the promise. Like the a little while ago, there was somebody was giving advice to say that you help them to get to 6 or 7 figures, right? Um, well, but what if you haven't done that yet? Should you be saying that? Should you be making that kind of a promise in order to draw the eyeballs, or
right.
get
Yeah, you
people
kind of
get people to pay attention to you? Or should you
hit a
promise what you actually have done, right?
yeah, you hit a slippery slope there really quick.
Yeah.
If you're not careful. Um, yeah. And so, I think that's great. That's gonna sticking to those values, is gonna allow you to be authentic, right? Because hey, this is who I am, this is what I believe, take it or leave it.
Hmm.
If you don't like it, then you're not the one I want to work with. So
Right, exactly.
boom.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think also, going along with that, you're y- you also have the greater opportunity for building those strong customer connections, right?
yeah,
So the ones that do choose to work with you, who know who you are because you've been authentic, because you've stuck to your guns and your values, it's just going to make you that much closer, and provides much stronger bonds there with your customers, which
Absolutely.
is what you're going for, right? You know,
Yes.
you want repeat customers, and you want customers that are going to tell other people about you, you know, what the
Yes.
great experience they had.
Absolutely.
Because chances are very good that those people know people who are like-minded, you know what I mean, and who you would like to work with. You know, it's just
Yeah.
that's kind of the way it goes. Kind of a
Yeah.
snowball almost, you know.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And also, kind of a third piece to this is you're having those values, sticking to them, is part of you building your brand, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And that is, and it becomes a point of differentiation, right? With
Yeah.
people. I work with these people who align with these values. I do not work with these people who do not align with these values. You know, that's important, you know.
Right.
Seems obvious, but you know.
Right.
It's a lot of, and this is what I see a lot on Alignable, is businesses who are saying we work with anybody, you know.
Mm.
We work with anybody who has this, that, and the other. Like, you know, not true.
There's-
It shouldn't be
Yeah.
true. You
Right.
know?
Right.
And that's the thing. It shouldn't be true, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, you can't really work with everybody because um you can't really service everybody. Everybody
Right.
doesn't have the same problems, and you don't have the solution for everybody's problem.
Right.
Yeah.
So you solve the problems of the people that you actually have a solution for, and the people
Right.
that you align with. Somebody gave me this advice once. They said, you know, your niche should be people that you actually like and want to hang out with. Well, you know what?
Boom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, mic drop,
That's great.
right?
You have more to say to them, I think. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I like them. I like to hang out with them. We can talk for hours and hours about stuff, and I have the solution for their problem, for their
Yeah.
specific problem, you know. And
yeah.
that works better.
Yeah.
They say if you work with everybody, you work with nobody, no one.
Hmm.
And we've learned, especially recently, like what's his name? Seth Godin he's a famous marketer. He has this he had this diagram. I saw him doing a speech once, and he had this diagram where it was like, you know, back in the past, there was kind of this big bell curve, this where there are a few people out on the fringes here and there, but most people were in the middle.
Hmm.
Well, nowadays, that line has straightened out quite a bit. And now there's like little pockets of people here. Everybody can find their people. Like,
Hmm.
I like Trekkies. I'm a big Star Trek fan. So me hanging out with Trekkies is like an awesome thing. You wouldn't find necessarily Trekkies in the big middle area,
Right.
right? They're not
Right.
like everybody, right? We're total geeks. Um, you know, I remember there's this organization. I think they call themselves the Red Hat Ladies. They're women that
Oh,
get together who just like to wear
wow.
red hats. I don't know what
Yeah.
else they
Yeah. I
have in
think I've heard of
common, but
that.
they like to wear red
Uh-huh.
hats. I'm like, what is that? But you know, he talks about like how nowadays there really is no middle area where just kind of everybody fits into. We're we're all niched and we're all kind of doing our own thing, you know?
Yeah. Some could say the argument could be made, I should say, that that is almost like a more fractured society to a certain degree, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's probably truer. You know, like it was
Mhm.
probably always that way, but
Yeah,
people
well,
got
maybe they
lumped
didn't
together
notice
more
it.
easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Um, hmm.
anyway, but that's a good point. Well, one thing I was going to throw in there, I was an English major at college, and
Hmm.
I studied. I wanted to be a writer, you know, creative writer,
Oh, wow.
primarily. one thing that they always taught us was write about what you know, you know. And
Mm.
so this is kind of the same thing, right? Like you need to
Yeah.
talk about the things that you know.
Yeah.
That's going to attract the people to you that want to hear about that, you know, and it's so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
I would so you know, continuing on here with a little bit. The question is, how do we go about implementing these? You know, what does the process look like? You know, so on and so forth. So I think to start it off down that path, might be good to think about, you know, personal life goals, what you might have lined up for yourself,
Mm.
how those are connected to your business goals. Presumably, there's a connection there. um, you know, my wife and I just had a discussion along these lines, where like, you know, what are we gonna do? Kind of, you know, like, and so I think that's probably not an uncommon discussion, you know, among couples especially, but you know, generally speaking, it surely has crossed your mind once or
Yeah.
twice. There must be a reason, you know, a personal reason for getting into business, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
What do you what is your do you have a personal reason you could share, Eric?
Yeah. I think I've always wanted, well, I've been in, been interested or kind of had a passion for voiceover since I was probably 5. But I never knew how to get into it. And then when I finally did, I realized that um, the opportunity, the future possibility of being able to work for myself and be independent was more attractive than ever. And it's not that I necessarily like being isolated or being in a padded room all day or whatever, but I just like the idea of being able to kind of control my own path and you know, look out for myself rather than have always be in the back of my mind that I might get laid off because of company reorganization or whatever. Um, so
Yep.
working for myself has always been a kind of a goal. But also, even, you know, like I said, since I was 5, I've had this idea of voiceover, and I remember thinking then that it would be great to grow up and be one of the voices that I hear on TV but don't see. Um, and so that's kind of still where I'm at, in terms of wanting to do maybe network commercials or, um, I was I was thinking the other day how, um, the voice of Jeopardy he is 96 years old, and I thought if I could still have the career that he has at the age of 96, I would feel very lucky and very successful. And that's, uh, you know, aside from doing network commercials, that's kind of a goal as well. Not necessarily to replace him, but to be on, you know, some kind of long running show that has a voice that's a signature voice. And, you know, so I have these goals, and it's a matter for me of marketing to the right people at the right time and taking the steps daily that I need to take in order to make those things happen.
Yeah. So what, you know, how do you align, how do you find yourself aligning this personal vision, you know, with your business goals? Like what does that process look like for you?
Um, Probably just like I was mentioning earlier, just going after certain kinds of businesses and not other kinds of companies. Um, and uh, and not letting myself get distracted maybe by things um, that don't align with the business goals. That doesn't mean that, that I don't cut loose and have fun once in a while. It's
Yeah.
not, it's not all work and no play, but at the same time, um, I try as much as possible to keep my eyes on the prize, so to speak, and not do things that distract me or that go against the goals or go against um, my what am I trying to say? My um, I totally lost the word.
No, no problem. No problem.
What we were talking about earlier. My
Yeah.
my thoughts and my values. That's what I'm trying to
Hmm.
say.
Hmm.
And so I keep those in mind as much as possible, and I try to keep going forward. Even small steps are steps, and so that's kind of where I'm at.
Do you find yourself, do you make changes in your personal life to fit your business goals, or
I do in terms of maybe not taking as much time for myself as I used to. Like uh, I embarrassed to admit it, but I used to spend a lot of time on the couch watching TV and just sort of wasting time. And
Mhm.
especially over the last month or so, I can't remember sitting on the couch and watching TV once.
Mm,
Anytime that I have free time that I don't feel like I need to be doing, something else around the house, like paying bills or whatever, I'm working on the business. And that can involve any number of things. It can involve the direct marketing, it can involve the bookkeeping, it can involve being in here and recording,
yeah.
or it can be sending emails to, like, right now, I'm in the middle of an audiobook. I communicate with the author on a regular basis. So there's all kinds of different aspects to the business, and I'm trying to do something, whether it's networking or going to a chamber event or any of those other things. I'm trying to do some of those things every single day so that at the end of the day, I can't go to bed thinking, oh, well, today was a wasted day. I can
Mm,
feel like, okay, I took a step, I made a step forward, I made some progress, maybe not as much as I wanted to, but I did something. And
yeah.
those are the kinds of changes that I guess I've made and
Yeah.
am continuing to try to make.
So did you, maybe you said this and I apologize to make you repeat
No.
yourself. How long have you been doing this?
I've been in actual business for about 3 years.
Okay.
That's kind of when I started my business was 2021. It was during 2020 during the pandemic that I um, sort of took the online training to get into voiceover, and kind of started the initial steps of doing what I needed to do. But it was 3 years ago when I actually launched and have started,
Did
doing more
you
things since then.
jump in both feet, you know, like, or did
I
you do it
did.
on the side? Okay.
Um, I am still working a full-time job.
Okay.
Um, so I'm not full-time voiceover yet, but that's definitely the goal.
Hmm.
And it's kind of a, what do you want to say? Um, Survival job in a way.
Hmm.
Um, it's not that I'm unhappy where I am or anything like that, and that I don't commit myself to it every day that I go in.
Okay.
But even my supervisors and managers know that that's not what I want to do forever.
Yeah.
They're well aware that I do voiceover, and they're fully supportive, and they've tried to find ways to help me out in regard to
Mm,
that. So,
mm.
so it's been great.
Hmm,
That's
that's awesome.
fantastic to have
Yeah.
supportive managers and
I'm glad. I'm
supervisors.
very, very
Yeah.
lucky to have that support.
Yeah. A lot of managers would fire you if they found out you had a second
They,
job. So, yeah.
they would. They would.
Um,
Mm.
okay, so it sounds like you're definitely making changes and trying to fit this in.
Yeah.
Making arrangements in your personal life to meet those business goals, right?
Right.
And
Right.
trying to mesh that all together.
Yep.
So good. I guess I was going to say hi to Michael. He joined us here. I don't know.
Oh,
Hi, Mike.
hi,
He
Michael.
doesn't have his sound on. Oh, hey
Hello.
there. Hey, welcome.
How's it going?
Good. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yes,
Happy
Thank you.
indeed,
Tuesday.
Same to you.
indeed. You're calling from California, yeah?
That is correct. Yep.
Okay. I met Michael yesterday on a quick connect as well. So
Oh, cool.
Wonderful.
yeah.
Connections.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
It makes all the difference. It's how the world goes around if you do it right.
Those things
Indeed.
are amazing.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah.
You got to kiss some frogs on those meetings. I gotta say.
Yeah.
Which is different than licking the frogs, and we shouldn't do that in public.
That's only legal in certain areas. Yeah.
Right.
It's a movie reference. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, Michael, we're talking about core values for your business and your personal life and how those connect and the importance of having those. Do you feel like you have core values?
The business slogan is a direct core value. 4 words: everybody deserves care.
Okay.
And it's a skincare business, but it's way larger because literally every single body deserves to have care.
Yeah.
Good point.
I guess and care can be quite a loaded term that can mean quite a few things, but yeah.
It's any number of things, and it's
Yeah.
based
Internal
on
and
what the need
external.
is.
Yeah. Emotional, mental, physical.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Part of our one of our things is, the percentage of profit is going to, and this was one of my co-founder's statements. It was different than mine. And she said, we're going to support women's needs, because my thing is like women's shelters. I've always supported women's shelters in various ways.
Yeah.
And she wanted to bring it more to maybe supporting hospitals or, parenting classes. And I said, hey, I don't care what it is as long as we're supporting.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
That's a core value in action, right?
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So is that like, so you give like a percentage of each sale to those causes?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And once we have sales, we'll be able to define which ones we go to.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, you definitely are starting things off the right path then, if you're already down that far, knowing where you're gonna the different causes that you want to support. I think that's great.
As a founder mentor, one of my statements to my mentees is start how you mean to finish.
Nice. Like that.
Yeah,
Hadn't
me
heard
too.
that one before.
Nice.
So yeah. Do you feel, Michael, that your your personal life goals, how do those affect or intertwine with your business goals? Do you feel like there's a connection there?
They're not the same thing, but they're incredibly tightly woven.
Yeah. Is that incorporated in your, like, the values that you have sort of explicitly stated as part of your
Yep.
business, or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you have your values written down? Like, can you share them, or?
I I don't actually.
Okay.
Haven't.
Okay.
But it's I mean, it's really simple. Care for others. I love the medical concept of do no harm.
Mhm.
I take it a step farther of actually do good.
Okay. I think that reminds me of Google's
I was
statement
just
of core
thinking that.
values. They used to have do no
Yes.
evil. Is that
Do no evil, yeah.
they
Used
got
to,
rid of that
yes.
ominously. Like
Oh, it's really interesting. I just watched a podcast with the ex-CEO, Eric Schmidt, where he
Eric
was
Schmidt,
talking
yeah.
about he talked about there comes a moment when you have billions of users and you have to make decisions. And I guess this is really where core values really have to override the decisions that you make, because your business isn't going to be small forever, hopefully, right? Your business isn't going to be solopreneur forever. There sometimes it gets to a point where, wow, we do have to have to change some things, make some decisions, and pivot. And so he was talking about um, they uh, they had to make a decision on something, and it came down to, do we push all of these, like, because people can advertise lots of different things on Google. Um, do we just put all of these like weird and lies in people's faces when they log on to Google and they're searching something? And do we let that go right up front, or do we and makes it more profitable for us? Or do we stick to our core value of do no evil?
yeah,
So,
Yeah.
there's that profitability up against your core value. And I thought that was really interesting.
well, I wonder. I don't know the reason why they removed that from their their marketing materials precisely,
Money.
but okay, yeah. Well, it makes me wonder if getting all this massive amount of customers, like the idea of evil becomes more relative,
Mm.
like,
Or
and
is it
maybe
more relative,
harder to
or is it
define.
more right, more muddied? That's where I was going to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I wonder
One
about
of my,
that.
I think it was his last, because he used to write these ridiculously impactful and market import annual letters, Eric Schmidt.
Yeah.
And I think it was the last one that he wrote as CEO. And within it, the part that sticks out in my memory is we have the money and the global reach. There is no reason that we should not have 1 million engineers on payroll, and we need them not to have a mandate. We need to pay them to work and to create. We don't know what they might make, but let's not limit them to what we think they can make.
Interesting.
Mhm. That is interesting. I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that is, I mean, with 3/4 of the money of God, you can
Right?
do
Yeah.
anything you want.
That
Yeah,
your
exactly.
grandchildren times five can't even spend,
Right.
right?
Yeah. That company alone has more money than a lot of small countries.
It
Like,
actually has more money than a lot of medium-sized countries. I mean, by that same token, Berkshire Hathaway they just ran some numbers. They've got
Yeah.
$325 billion in cash right now.
Google or Berkshire?
Berkshire.
Yeah, okay.
Because
That
they
sounds
offloaded a lot of Apple. They reduced their Apple stake by like 40%
hmm.
and just put everything into cash.
Mm.
That means Buffett is he's smelling blood in the water.
He can
It's
smell the
coming.
buy.
That's actually ominous, because that means there's going to be a huge downturn.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
for over 10 years, from an investment perspective, Apple was a good buy simply because of how much cash they had.
Yeah.
their stock price was completely supported by their cash position,
Hmm.
completely excluding the value of the brand and the business.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It
They
doesn't
had the
anymore
assets to
because
back it
it
up.
got so expensive.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, let's get back to our topic here. We're getting a little bit off track, but that's some interesting stuff. Um, so Eric, I'm curious, do you have a statement of like your vision statement? Do you for the company, have you made one or
Um, I don't, not really. I guess to be honest, I haven't. That's something I should work on, because
I guess
I know I'll be asked that
yeah.
at
Well,
times, and
You
it
didn't
would
I
be
know that
good
was
guess
your
to,
homework, did you?
yeah,
right.
I guess having a vision statement is slightly different, but then having core values. Let's
Right.
say, do you have what are your core values? Like, have you written them down? Do you have an idea what they are? Like, would you care
I
to share? You know?
I have not written them down, but I guess being trustworthy, being honest, being dependable, um, being I've heard this since I was a child as well. You're a nice guy. And I feel like treating people with respect, being nice. And I know that's not maybe possible with everybody, but I I at least try, and and I think that that's something that's maybe lacking sometimes in the world. And so, but I still try to, if there's something that's directed um, in a hateful tone, I try not to respond back that way. I still try to, um, keep a level head and respond
Mhm.
appropriately, maybe firm, but not rude or hateful. So yeah, I guess it would be things like that. Just being, um, a good guy. And I've
Awesome.
heard that, that comes across. And I don't know. I used to be a TV news reporter and anchor,
Mm,
and so I don't know if uh, of some of those values are because of that, that
mm,
I don't know that I necessarily learned them while I was in that field, but being in that field made me realize that I needed to um, be better, I guess.
mm,
And even though I'm not in that field anymore, I still kind of carry that, um, not taking myself too seriously, but taking my values seriously and feeling like I need to make a good impression, I guess.
mhm.
And and so yeah,
I could definitely see where that would be crucial
yeah,
to make sure that you're keeping on top of all of that and
yeah,
being in the public eye, opens you
yeah,
up for
for
scrutiny,
sure,
right? So it's
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. I wanted
yeah.
to mention that sometimes our core values uh, that we uphold in our personal lives may be different from the values that our businesses might have. So
Mhm.
we have a resource that we're going to share with you that has a list of words that you can go through and like pick out the ones that you feel like might be good good values for you and for your business. So, but
Right.
some of them are about privacy. Like I think that's a good core value for Apple Corporation, right?
Yeah.
Persuasive, mystery, integrity, of course, intelligence, competence, fortitude, perseverance, precision might be a good one for say a car mechanic. You want to make sure that you're doing the work well, that you're effective. You're so and some of these might cross over. I know one marketer that I follow, his one of his core values is don't be boring, fun, entertainment, you know? Um,
That sounds like a
so
challenge. Like
yeah, reliability. Um, so rational,
yeah.
right? Not being off the wall and uh kind of crazy. So I
Yeah, the
think,
list has over 400 words on it, so you
Oh,
can
wow.
yeah,
might
there's
you
lots
just
of words on here
feel
that
free to look at, see
yeah,
what you think.
absolutely. Take a look at those and see which ones might be ones that are specific to your business.
Sure.
What kind of and that really comes into like what do you want your brand to be known for,
Yeah.
right? Apple is they're like computer software and hardware company on, ultimately, whether it's mobile or desktop or, you know, um, but one of their core values being privacy. Sometimes, well, it comes into place more in this internet world that we're living in. But back when they first started, maybe it wasn't as big a value. And speaking of which, maybe the values you have when you start may need to be modified over time as you
Mhm.
as you pivot, because nobody's business is going to look the same a year from now or 5 years from now
Mhm.
the way it looks today.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
And that's something I can guarantee you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know for sure mine is completely different from where I started. So
Yeah.
in many different ways, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
that's something to take a look at.
Sure. And
You
you're
want me to drop
gonna,
the link in it here, or
I was gonna say, are you gonna send those to us somehow? And Nate, did I hear you say at the beginning that we'd get a recording or something? Or
you should?
Absolutely. It's
okay,
on YouTube.
Yes,
Um, so it's going to be on both our YouTube channels,
yes,
right?
yeah.
And
There'll be a couple of different places you can find the recording. Yep,
okay, great.
yep.
yeah.
Well, let me think here.
And we can put the link in the
Oh
YouTube.
yeah,
So so
yeah, and I
subscribe to the
have
channels and
yes,
Whoops.
yes, yep,
and let's put the link in the description of the video
yeah.
so
We'll
that
do
you
that.
can download it when you want.
Okay.
Free, no charge. We're not charging extra for that
Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do
let's
you
see.
do you want to drop the link to your YouTube channel?
Oh, sure. I would love to.
And Simone, the link that you dropped in earlier,
Oh, that
like,
was to the Zoom.
oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because it's trying to open up Zoom again.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Let's see. It is.
This is my YouTube channel there.
Oh, okay.
You must be on your computer. You're typing faster than me.
Yeah, handy those computers. Handier than
Handier than
tablets
the
for doing this kind of thing.
tablets.
As
They
handy
make
as
it work.
tablets are, they have their limits.
They do have their limits.
Hey guys,
No
I've got at
more
10
blame.
o'clock. I gotta hop off.
No
I
problem.
apologize for going
No
early.
problem. Thanks for
All
coming.
right.
I
Well, thanks for
appreciate it.
showing
Thanks,
up,
Mike.
Yep.
for
Talk
coming
soon.
and participating. All right. So should we recap? What did we learn today?
I guess, Eric, what did you learn today?
Oh, oh no, you're gonna put me on the spot.
Ba-da-dum. Yeah.
No, I would say learning about values and how important those are to business, to reaching out when those values align and maybe not when they don't. Um, Talking about making changes in our personal lives to align with our business goals and things like that. It's been a great session.
Awesome. One of the things that today reminded me of is that having those core values set out really helps in decision making
Yeah.
in your day-to-day business. Um, Knowing they're a guide really as you're making your way towards your ultimate goal. What things it helps you to in those decisions, like what opportunities to take, what to leave on the
Sure.
table, how to talk to people as you're trying to make sales and
Yeah,
market yourself, and um, what kind of clients you're gonna be working with and partnering with.
definitely.
So
That's
yeah.
great. Well, thank you both so much. This has been fun.
Yeah. Thanks for joining. And
Sure.
every week we meet at noon on
Okay.
Tuesdays, and it'll be a different topic every time. So
Sure. Well, great. Look forward to seeing you again.
yeah, sounds good.
Fantastic.
Thanks,
Look
Eric.
forward to you being here
Sure.
again.
You bet. Thank you much. Have a good rest of the
Yep.
day.
Alrighty.
You too.
Take care.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
All right, and that's it for us. As we said, we are going to drop the link to this resource in the description. Subscribe to our channels and let others know that this is happening every week at noon. We'll see you again. Let's see if I can hit the button. My button. Oh.